review.
Yeah, I have to separate. I separate them from the main. There's also like Patreon review ones that have their own like separate category, and these
Uh-huh.
have their own separate category. Um,
We
so
saw Hocus Pocus.
we went to. That'd be funny. We started out talking about. So we went to go see Indivisible again. It's retro now. It's a week old. Yeah, we got. They've been playing Hocus Pocus here, like all week. It's not a Fathom event or anything like that. It's I don't know if it's just in AMC theaters, but yeah, all week they've been showing Hocus Pocus, a movie I haven't seen in 25 years. So I guess it is kind of an anniversary year for it. It's probably been about 24, 25 years since I've seen this movie, and I
It's
think
in 1993, so
1993. Yeah.
25 years.
So I think you're way more nostalgic for this movie maybe than I am.
I watched it quite a bit growing up.
Yeah.
For the first 10 minutes or so, I was like, oh no. Because
Oh,
it was just so bad. But then, like, I started getting into the swing of like, getting more into the things that I could actually remember. Like, after
Sure.
they, like, lit the candle, and this, like, the sisters came back, and it was less like the Bette Midler Show, and more like Kathy and Jimmy and Sarah Jessica Parker just being like silly in the background, and like
yeah.
random weirdos showing up, like the horny ass bus driver.
I love that guy. He was
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of this movie.
Yeah, those moments for me are what make this movie enjoyable.
Yeah,
It was
I.
way more 90s than I remember it being, but I think like during the 90s, everything was the 90s, so we just,
So you
like,
just
all
didn't
developed,
notice.
like, a
This is
tolerance.
very of this time.
Yeah, it's like when you're underwater, you don't know how much water there is.
Yeah, this movie is exactly as 90s as I remember it. I saw this movie. I didn't see it in theaters when it came out, and I remember Nick and I watched it, and I think we watched it with our friend Rusty, who we all hung out with back then.
Mm-hmm.
And his sister was into this, I think, and I want to say I maybe saw this movie at least a couple of times because I remember me, Nick, and Rusty watching this when it first came out on video because I'm pretty sure I didn't see this in theaters.
It seems like the kind of movie Nick would like.
He didn't. Both of me and him and Rusty were sitting there like,
Why did you watch it multiple times?
no, I don't, because both times it wasn't my choice to put on. It's the same reason I saw Caddyshack 2 in the theater twice.
Okay.
That's-
Because of Rusty's sister, goddamn.
No, it's because my parents are divorced and both of them wanted to go see it. That is the true downside of divorce.
It's how many times you have to watch
It's
Caddyshack
The
2.
same reason I saw Stopper My Mom Will Shoot in the theater twice. Man.
You guys
So
to see Stop or My Mom Will Shoot with your mom, and then Suburban Dad.
and my dad, well, yeah,
Yeah.
because we went to go see all the Stallone movies together and
Yeah.
everything. So of course we saw that. But this, now I didn't see this in theaters, but I remember, I think my mom had it on at one point too, and I watched it. But no, I remember us sitting there going like, this movie's really kind of obnoxious. Like none of us really liked it. We were like, this is just kind of dumb, and then we forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then years and years go by, and internet. I'm like, oh, well, I guess that movie has a really, really huge fan base.
Yeah,
All right.
people who watched it like when they were 12.
Yeah. No, yeah, it does. And you know what? And seeing this movie again now, I was sitting there watching it going like, okay, yeah, I actually do see why a lot of people really like this movie a lot.
It's got some great moments in it.
There are moments that it has in it that are pretty funny. And I did enjoy it more now than I did as being 12 or however old I was when I saw the movie. So watching it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see why this has a really, really big fan base. I see why it's, re-released, and I can completely understand why a lot of people grew up watching this movie. And like we said outside, I also see why this isn't a very highly reviewed movie as well.
Oh, what's the problem?
Okay, Laura and I were talking earlier, she likes the movie a lot as well. Really, honestly, it should be her and you reviewing this and not you and me, because she grew up watching this movie. So I was like, I remember this movie not being very good when I went to go see it. I go, was it just me, or did critics really like that? Like, I know it has like its fans. I was like, did critics like this movie when it came out? So I looked it up. This movie was sitting at like a 30, and the first thing on there, I kind of laughed. The first thing on there, it was just one line, and it was from Gene Siskel, and it was just dreadful.
You big killjoy.
I didn't see that on there, but like, you know what? Like, yeah, so I did kind of enjoy it a little bit better watching it now. I won't go so far as to say that I'd watch it again, or that I really suddenly fell in love with this movie. Like, what was I thinking? This is a modern classic. I won't go so far as to say that, because there were still some pretty obnoxious things about this movie. But there were some moments when I was watching, it was like, okay, when the witches turn up at the beginning and Kathy Najimy is straight up doing a Curly Howard impression.
They were doing the Three Stooges.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't catch that at all when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know from the Three Stooges. It's like, wow, you know, she's even like kind of doing the face.
She's doing the... And the ruff, ruff. She's doing like the Curly Howard face and everything. And I did grow up watching the Three Stooges. I'm like, you know what? If I caught that, maybe I did catch it when I saw it, and it's been 20-some years, so I just don't remember. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so that's what this movie is. It's Wonderful World of Disney Halloween movie, and the Three Stooges are witches.
Same if one of the Stooges was like tremendously horny.
Well, the boys would
well,
get a little...
a few of them were like, what you call classically horny, but it was more like a ho-ho, pretty lady, and not like a, would you like to stick your face in my boobs?
That, well, you know, the boys would be a little prone to do that sometimes too, but... Although I don't remember Larry Fine sitting on a bus driver's lap and trading zings like that. And I mean, yeah, and I was like, okay, it also is kind of a better version of Spaced Invaders. Did you see that movie?
No.
As another movie. That's a movie I saw in the fucking theater. I remember being highly disappointed. That's the one about the aliens that come down, because the plot is actually pretty clever. Like, real quick, these aliens are going by and they're listening to a re-airing of War of the Worlds, and so they're like, oh, we've invaded Earth, so they go down to Earth and it's Halloween, and everyone thinks that they're a Halloween costume. It actually kind of just is this movie. Sort of.
Who was in it?
Fuck, who was in that movie?
Nobody of note.
The main alien, like, the aliens were like leather jackets and like sunglasses, and the main one talks like Jack Nicholson, and like everyone thinks that they're just trick-or-treaters, and like they don't know what Halloween is, and like there actually are similar gags in both movies. This movie's probably a little bit better, because yeah, some of the funny stuff in this movie is when, like, yeah, the bus driver picks him up and just thinks,
Bubba, I'm in trouble.
I love that guy. He just thinks, like, oh, they're really into their Halloween costumes, and they're just...
All three of these women are equally attractive, which I thought was a real charming mindset, because everyone else is all like Sarah Jessica Parker and these other two broads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, contextual-wise, it made sense in that, like, I mean, Bette Midler's like the Mo Howard of this group, clearly. And she's the one who's like kind of classically looks like a witch, whereas Sarah Jessica Parker is the one who is like the siren who's like wooing all the children to the thing to the house at the end. So like,
well, Kathy Najimy was a very pretty woman, and I think that's made the main reason she was making that face, just doing like the Bradley Cooper Elephant Man thing. Or she didn't want to do prosthetics, but if she just made her face look normal, she'd be too attractive. So she's like,
I know, like a little bit of like Oswald Cobblepot thrown in there too, and in a couple of shots. Yeah, like there are some funny gags in this. Oh hey, a possum. Sorry.
Oh hey buddy.
I am still ADD.
He wants that soda. He wants it so bad.
You get that soda, buddy. And it's a talking possum. So,
I can talk. I love to talk.
There are some things about this movie that don't work.
I'd forgotten how fucking despicable that main character
Thank
dude
you.
is.
Holy shit!
Max, like, we're supposed to be rooting for him not
Fuck
only
that
to, like,
dude.
win and save the day and save his sister, but get the girl. And I just wanted him to, like, fucking, like, he deserved a comeuppance more than those two idiot Bulk and Skull characters did.
Yeah,
because they were like, they obviously had problems, and one of them was like had developmental disorders. And they ended up like locked in a cage to presumably starve to death. Meanwhile, Max, whose fault it fucking was in the first place, who was cruel to everyone in his entire life, including the girl he was trying to get with.
Yeah.
Ends up like the hero.
In any other movie, even a movie back then, even like I realize this movie's 25 years old, but honestly, even a movie back then, this kid would most likely be the antagonist in the film.
Yeah, he's a little shitheel.
Right. There was nothing charming about this kid.
No.
There was nothing charming, nothing likable. There was nothing that made me want to root for him. There was no chemistry with him and that girl.
Honestly, like
at all.
Yeah, no, she deserved so much better than him.
Yeah.
And there was no reason for her to... There's like no moment where he did something passively attractive in front of her that makes you kind of believe that moment they had later, where she was all like, okay, time to go to sleep. Snuggle, snuggle, snuggle. No, he's being an idiot, like anywhere in her field of vision for the entire movie up to that point. And like Thora Birch, she's a good actress nowadays.
No, totally,
right?
yeah.
She wasn't doing great, and she was being kind of an obnoxious kid character. But how mean her brother was being to her made her more sympathetic.
It made me not care when people are bullying the Max.
Yeah,
it made me not give a shit.
Stole his shoes, and it's like good.
Yeah, people are stealing his shoes. There's like he's being called the Virgin and things like that, and I'm like,
God forbid.
I'm like. I mean, that joke was kind of weird anyway, but like,
weird.
It was weird because like, well, real quick, like, I didn't feel sorry for him though whenever that happened. Like, I didn't care. I'm like, maybe that's why they're teasing him about this. Like, maybe anyone else, they probably wouldn't.
They're not teasing him because he's a virgin. They're teasing him because he's so hung up about it.
Because he's an asshole. Because he's an obnoxious little asshole. And not even like, likably so. Like, in a way that like, makes it come across like this is not the intended vibe you're trying to throw out with this character. But the virgin thing, I'm like, oh, and he's a virgin too. I'm like, why wouldn't he be? Like, why is this a shock to anyone? Like, how does this keep getting brought up? That was kind of weird, but I mean, other than that, like, Laura out in the hall said what I was thinking several times during this when she goes like, I know you don't watch this show, but she goes like, he is basically the younger Dean from Gilmore Girls, and I go, holy shit, thank you. I was thinking that during the movie. It's exactly what this fucking kid is.
Is Dean the one that was Sam on Supernatural?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who's not Dean on Supernatural. Him. I mean, decent enough actor, but like, Dean sucks. Watch me and Brian's video on Gilmore Girls, and we talk extensively about Dean.
Brian and Brad talk about Dean for 2 hours.
Man, pretty much what it was. And fuck Dean! He's in the
it's a new series called Tea Time with Brad.
He's in the mini-series like once. Once long enough for me and Brian to rant. So, yeah, and there would be some things that would be like, little funny gags in this, like them dancing on concrete and like the fish out of water stuff that they do, because the three witches really are good together in it.
Yeah.
They play off each other really well. And then like random shit would happen too. Like I saw you go like this, and like I think Laura did on the other side.
Tell the cops that they had accidentally resurrected the Sanderson sisters. Was that the moment?
No, well, I think I did see you do that a few times. It might have been in that scene. No, later where she's flying alongside the car and is asking for a driver's permit.
Oh yeah, that learning curve was steep in terms of like modern terminology.
Right?
Because they like didn't know what a road was.
But they know that you need at least a valid permit to drive on it.
And Californians say dude.
Like, I know people who grew up with this movie aren't going to give a shit about something like that.
Nope.
But yeah, the movie's not perfectly written.
Like
God forbid.
For me, this is the sort of movie where, like, you'll look back on it fondly and you'll have a Halloween party and you'll think it'll be funny. We'll all watch Hocus Pocus, including those of us who didn't grow up on Hocus Pocus. It'll be like a mixed group party, and you will regret it immediately because all who didn't grow up on Hocus Pocus can be bored to tears. What you want to do is you get together a group of people who did grow up on Hocus Pocus and be like the girls that were next to me in the movie theater, laughing and like saying lines along with the movie. And you'll have a grand old time.
Yeah. I mean, because there are things about it that looking at it, there's several parts where it is a really good looking film. Like there are parts where they really are trying to capture, like, you know, the like a 60s Wonderful World of Disney vibe with some of the matte paintings that they do, and even some of like the effects in it, like outside the cat, even like some effects that they're doing in the movie almost make it feel like this could possibly be taking place in the same universe as Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Yeah. And
he has a little woman.
I do love that fucking movie, man. I love that movie. There's some of it where it's like, honestly, we said the same thing about House with the Clock in Its Walls, where it's kind of trying to capture that vibe of like something that, like, you know, you might have seen like in that would go along with like a 1960s Disney movie like this.
Yeah, I can see that. Like Escape to Witch Mountain.
Yeah. But with the Three Stooges thrown in there.
Yeah, it's a horned up Three Stooges.
Yeah, there were some effects of that cat though.
Yeah, when he's like giving speeches and it's just...
Whoa, dude. It was like a notch above a talking cat.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie?
Talking cat ? Exclamation point? No, I have not, but I've heard you talk about it.
You gotta see that movie. No, but I mean, other than that, I love the cat in this movie because I love, you know, it even when like a movie might not be something that I like necessarily, like I still at least will give props to something where like a cat is the protagonist.
Yeah, it was a good little cat. They must have trained it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And you saying the cat reminds me of something else that I enjoyed about this movie. Is it something they did in the 90s where like a kid's movie would just be suddenly inexplicably brutal with like zany slapstick noises in the background. Like, if they kill a child in the first 5 minutes of this movie, and then like the townspeople are coming with pitchforks and they like throw a towel over her, like, and put a lampshade on her head. Like, oh, it's zany. Let's hide the child corpse we just generated.
You see, that's...
And then like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then like the cat gets just hit by a bus. And, you know, like, I feel like nowadays they just have us look down and know that there's, like, a dead cat down here. But in this movie, they show the cat. He's got, like, a tire mark in him. And then it just inflates and he's fine.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed both of those things about this movie. And it's why, like, you know, I like the kind of kids, even though this is a movie I didn't grow up on, but I do like the kind of kids movies that, like, you and I grew up on. Because they made sure that we knew there were stakes.
Yes. These children could die on account of that other child that died.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, like shit could go south in this zany movie where they're making Charles Rocket dance all night long. Charles Rocket, I love Charles Rocket.
I'm dead, you love.
Yeah, and Charles Rocket is in this movie. He plays the kid's dad, and he's in this movie only a few times, but it's Charles Rocket, so, like, even though this is a throwaway part, he could still throw out a line.
Yeah, he was, like, really good, because he's, like, he's being all, like, cute and, like, blah, but then his son's, like, he's, like, terrible. He's like, what is it, Danny? Is Danny okay? And
yeah.
It's like, you bought that moment, even though it was in the middle of fucking Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of many reasons I fucking love Charles Rocket. Like, he really brings a lot to this character that's only in it for, like, 3 scenes. And watching him in those 3 scenes, I'm like... Fuck, he's so much more likable than the kid, than his son.
Like the Charles Rocket show.
Yeah, why isn't it Charles and his wife?
She did a good job,
No,
too.
she's really good. She was the John Candy's wife in the Great Outdoors.
I haven't seen that movie, so I must have recognized her from something else.
Me and Aaron watched that with you.
That was one of those, like, sleepover ones, though.
I
don't remember very much about those. We watched, like... The Great Outdoors and, like, Uncle Buck and, like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Crocodile Dundee 2. I could fucking do lines from.
Me too. I love that movie. I keep meaning to show that one to Laura sometime. But she,
I think it's on Amazon streaming.
Is it really?
Maybe.
Hell yeah.
We'll Google it when we're done doing the video.
Fuck yeah, Crocodile Dundee 2. No, I mean, she said the same things that you were saying about the cat, like that they really did get like a pretty well-trained cat in there. Of course, she says this to me and me being a smart ass. Just like, honey, you wasn't actually talking.
No, what they do is they put peanut butter on the cat's mouth.
That's how Lloyd talks to me.
Wow.
That possum is still chilling over there. What's up, buddy?
They're cute. I feel like they're cute.
They are.
Yeah, some people don't like pods. I mean, I've never like had one startle me in the dark of night.
That would be scary.
I feel like one startled David and he kicked it out of the way one time. I still feels kind of bad about it.
That's why he's there, because it's fucking revenge. That's why he's holding a gun.
And I feel like the birds. He's just gonna be like in a phone booth and that's just
Holy
gonna get fucking
shit.
swarmed with possums.
Like I'm gonna look at a jungle gym and a bunch of possums just hanging by their tails on it. Like,
With all their
that's
little babies
peculiar.
on their bellies. It'll be the cutest swarm I've ever seen.
Gosh, I mean, is there anything else about this movie? I mean,
Again, like Kathy and Jimmy and Sarah Jessica Parker just in the background is cracking wise, you know, like I feel like the main appeal of this movie isn't any like it's those moments, you know, where like I've suddenly spaced on her name, the red-haired broad in the front. Winifred Sanderson.
Oh, Bette Midler?
Yeah, Bette Midler's like delivering these ridiculous lines, and the Kathy and Jimmy just kind of over her shoulder, like, "Oh yeah, Winnie, you're doing a great job."
Yeah, I mean,
okay, bye bye.
They're delightfully overacting in this film, like hard fucking core, like they're overacting in this film,
grabbing wads of scenery.
Yeah, and that is a huge appeal of this movie, because they're overacting in a way that's like Disney kids Halloween movie overacting and just chewing scenery left and right, and that is entertaining. I think that as far as a lot of the jokes go, that for me anyway, there were more misses than hits, honestly, but it would get me every now. But then like
that guy came out of the house and they thought he was the devil.
Oh, and it was Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall, and they think he's Satan. Like, yeah, there were like little set pieces like that.
Why would the master give us candy?
I'd like, yeah, because that was some of my favorite stuff in this movie, where it was like just like other random people just playing along with them, just from their point of view, like, oh, well, these three sisters dressed like witches are just really into character. I also see the movie's appeal in the cosplay aspect of it.
Oh yeah, you can get like I was thinking during this movie, man, I wonder who at my age I could play of the three Sanderson sisters, because I'm like out of the Sarah Jessica Parker zone, but like I can pull off a Kathy and Jimmy. I can make like a weird face.
Yeah, I want to be Charles Rocket, just a cheap like Dracula costume. Like, oh, you're Dracula. I'm like, no
I'm Dadula.
I am Charles Rocket as Dadula from
the Disney
Hocus
movie
Pocus. Those are my favorite kinds of Halloween costumes. Any other things about this movie?
Like, and Sarah Jessica Parker was so pretty in this. And
yeah.
Like, you forget nowadays, but she used to have great comedic timing.
She still does.
Was gorgeous. Like,
oh yeah. I mean, she's still
joking
beautiful.
About how low cut her top was.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised her nipples didn't just slip out of her, like just kind of like poke over the side of her dress like fucking Kilroy.
I love Sarah Jessica Parker.
And there's that scene where she's singing that song, and like that was my favorite part of the movie growing up, because it's such a pretty song, and even nowadays.
No, it was. I had forgotten about that scene. I'm like, this is actually really, really well done. And she's we watched that show on HBO, Divorce, with her and Thomas Hayden Church. She's really it's a great show, and she's really, really funny on it. Her and Thomas Hayden Church are great together on there. Yeah, that's totally worth watching.
Like, she was hilarious in LA Story.
Yeah, LA Story.
Yeah, she's just still wee, but
I mean, I love Sex and the City. I don't know how much of that you watched, but I love Sex and the City.
I tried so hard.
Did you?
It's like the Gilmore Girls. It's that category of like stuff that I know that I ought to like.
Yeah.
Because everyone I like likes it. It's just I can't get into it.
Well, if your problem with the show was Skipper, I've got good news for you.
Did Skipper die?
No, he just disappeared. He just went off with the older Cunningham brother.
My problem, it was like one of the first episodes. She was going around and like interviewing people about like sexual politics. But it was like the basic premise of that episode did not age well. Something about like
the one about models.
Yeah, maybe like super attractive people not wanting to.
They kind of
admit or something.
They There's another episode later on that kind of goes back to that, at least in terms of like themes. But the whole thing about them like interviewing people on the street, that's dropped at like the beginning of like the second season or somewhere around the second season.
Oh, third, I guess. I'm still watching Sabrina. That show's so
Oh,
good.
the new one?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got Jeffrey in it
Jeffrey?
from Coupling.
Oh, really?
Oh, Jeffrey. He's like a big bad. He's one of the,
Oh,
like
nice.
the Black, come to the dark side, Sabrina.
Nice. Yeah, I might check it out now.
They do like
Richard
a big
Coyle's on it.
reveal where it's like it turns around and it's fucking Jeffrey.
Hell yeah.
It's like in The Runaways where there was a big reveal and it was fucking eyebrows from Nip Tuck.
Which one was eyebrows?
Christian.
Oh, Julian McMahon?
Yeah.
Oh, does he have big eyebrows?
He's not so much that they're big, so much as they're like pronounced.
Oh, okay.
They look like if someone like stuck a pair of fake eyebrows to the TV and he just kind of like walked up into them.
That's a classic Andy Kaufman gag. This weekend is wait, we did have trailers in front of this.
Yeah, we sure did.
Just
I
like
went on my phone.
just like 3 of them. I'm so used to there not being trailers in front of one of these retro reviews. Like they did, since this wasn't a Fathom event, they did stick a few in front of this.
So the first one I wrote down Penguins because the movie was called Penguins.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is the new Disney nature documentary.
It's not just like... Sorry, go ahead.
No, my favorite thing about, I mean, it looks adorable because like all of these movies look adorable, but yeah, it's about a little penguin, but they have trailer guy voice through the whole thing, basically doing, like literally doing like the Rob Schneider trailer.
Meet Steve.
Yeah.
He really stands out in the crowd.
Until one day, he's about to meet his match, and his life will never be the same.
When his wife leaves him alone with the children, he finds out he's got more than he bit off to chew on her.
Steve the Penguin in Dirt.
Derpy derp.
Like that. Watch this trailer. Like I was sitting there, like I'm so glad this kind of trailer is back.
It's the same like penguin story where like a penguin finds a mate and they have eggs and they have babies and the girl penguin goes out to find some food. Well,
until
man takes care
one
of the
day.
baby.
Oh, it's
They named it Steve and gave it the weird trailer voice.
that with the trailer voice in there, it makes me think that this Disney nature documentary is gonna follow the plot of Mr. Mom.
Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah. Oh shit, that penguin's got a dick for a nose. So yeah.
To raise enough money to feed his children, this penguin must become a prostitute.
Where is this movie going? I must see this.
Mary Poppins Returns.
That was the full trailer for
This is
that.
the first trailer I've heard where you hear Lin-Manuel using his like boy Cockney British accent.
Yeah.
And it's better than Dick Van Dyke's.
Aw,
That's about all I
man.
can say about it.
Sometimes I'm not a good judge of accents. So, I mean, for me, Dick Van Dyke was perfect. I don't see what's so wrong about that.
Well, this was perfect for an Australian accent. But like, Lin-Manuel is, as I live and breathe.
I'm excited for it. Like, if anything, just to see some classic-looking Disney animation on screen for the
Yeah,
animated
they actually do like
sequences.
I call them Mr. Olympic drawing, but
Yeah.
it's the Mary Poppins drawing.
Yeah.
Where they're like the flowers come off and their clothes are
Yeah.
all drawn on, and it looks good.
Mm-hmm. No, it does. I mean, it's a big December musical, so of course I'm down. But well, I guess speaking of movies that really don't look that good,
Yeah,
honestly,
Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
man. Okay,
It does look pretty,
it does look that, yeah.
but like the Nutcracker is like I turned and said to you, it comes with its own music. Why are they doing this?
Why are they doing
'Cause
emo trailer girl?
Like emo trailer girl singing "I'm Just a Girl" from by No Doubt.
Like what? I forgot that was the classic Nutcracker song. I'm just a girl.
One of the realms is ska.
Great. So like that happens in this trailer. I'm sitting there like, man.
It does look like Tim Burton's Alice. I'm sorry.
No, like when. No, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, when we got a teaser for this, like last December, when it was just really brief, I'm like, oh, okay, well that looks like it might be beautiful and epic and really cool. And now these other trailers I'm seeing, oh yeah, it's got a huge like Alice in Wonderland vibe on this. I don't know about this fucking movie, man.
And then Anne Hathaway shows up.
If this movie ends with the futter whacking, I probably won't do anything because
We'll have already watched the movie. We're just, ow! Fucking butterwhack.
Brian got so mad at me when I reminded him that existed. Like it was when you and I saw the second one.
They didn't futter whacking in it.
Yeah, and he and I were talking. I'm like, well, there was no futter whacking in it. And Brian pauses for 5 seconds and just goes, I fucking hate you that you just reminded me that was a thing that happened. Like he hadn't thought about it in years, and it suddenly came back.
Oh, the futter whacking.
Yeah.
That takes me back.
Well, that is, I think that's opening this weekend, the Nutcracker.
Yeah, I'll watch it. It's
Yeah.
probably 3 hours long and boring as
No,
fuck.
it's not. It's not. It's under 2 hours.
Thank
It's under that and Bohemian Rhapsody are out this weekend, and Bohemian Rhapsody is over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I might have to split that up and see one on Friday, one on Thursday.
Mm.
No, it's under 2 hours. I'm pretty sure it is. Because holy fuck.
See Bohemian Rhapsody on Friday, then maybe David can go see. Although, wait,
Yeah.
he's not. Is he excited? Well, whatever. He can see it anyway.
Sure, yeah, he wasn't excited for Indivisible that I know of.
Anyway,
Yeah. All right, everyone. It looks foggy in here.
it sure does. Bye.